This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Put your money in motion. Drive VMW, VM Wealth Management. Transform your everyday.
The time by VM Wealth Management is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Monday, July 7, 2025. Information Minister condemns a PNP attack on rural school bus program. And the PNP's Peter Bunting says he will not apologize for criticism of the buses. Jamaica Debates Commission in heightened preparation mode for general election debates. In regional news, a veteran Caribbean journalist Ricky Singh dies at 88. In international news, at least 81 dead and dozens missing in Texas floods. In sports, Darren Sammy laments his players' inconsistency following the West Indies 133 loss against Australia. And in business, Trump threatens extra 10% tariff on nations siding with BRICS. The details after the break.
Are you looking for a place where your imagination can blossom into something amazing? Where you can be as creative as you dare with facilitators who will prepare you to succeed in a global career? Or maybe you're looking for a place that practices tertiary level education in a practical way? Then you belong at the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI. Become the best you can be. You belong here. VTDI, empowering people, transforming lives.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Information Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon has condemned what she describes as a vulgar attack by the opposition PNP on the rural school bus program. The PNP has launched a coordinated attack on the government's plan to provide transportation to thousands of students living in rural Jamaica, decrying the use of what it says are old buses. Golding continued the line of attack during an address to comrades in West Portland recently.
And I see your MP coming with his old bus plan. These old buses that he wants to say that's going to provide a solution, a transport solution. It's going to be pure problem, I tell you that. Our solution is to empower the taxi drivers and the bus drivers of Jamaica with a subsidy that we will pay them so they can carry the pick to them and you don't have to find all that money. And we're starting with 20,000 families. And as the economy improves, we're going to grow it till we're providing a proper subsidy across the nation to all who need it. And the transport sector, the private operators, the little man, them who have them Pro Box and them have them AR wagon, and they will be the beneficiaries of the money that is going to run for that program.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. But according to Minister Morris Dixon, the PNP's line of attack is shameful.
I am extremely disappointed to hear the baseless attack on the rural school bus system. These buses are used in the United States and Canada. They are manufactured in accordance with the safety specifications of the U.S. Department of Transportation, and they undergo a rigorous maintenance and inspection regime before and after arriving in Jamaica. Our student safety is our foremost priority.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education. And Minister Morris Dixon says parents can rest assured that the buses will meet the requisite safety standards.
Upon arrival, each bus undergoes a comprehensive inspection and fitness testing consistent with international best practices, and they will be serviced regularly to ensure continued reliability. These buses will be equipped with GPS tracking that allows parents to monitor their child's journey in real time, with onboard cameras, speed limiters, geofencing.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education. Meanwhile, an unrepentant Peter Bunting says he will not withdraw scathing comments he has made about the government's rural school bus program. Speaking at a PNP meeting in Christian on Sunday, Senator Bunting says he would not allow his children to ride on what he describes as old buses.
Yes, I raised the alarm and warned, so we don't want to kill off poor people picking with some more bus. And I make no apology for that. And let us give some background. These buses that they're bringing in, these are not pre-owned vehicles. These are retired old buses. Many are over 10 to 15 years old with hundreds of thousands of miles on the clock. So when I sound the alarm, we don't care what the labor rights say or who they say we are.
Peter Bunting, the opposition spokesman on security. Meanwhile, opposition spokesman on transport, Mikhail Phillips, says the PNP's main problem is with the way in which the bus program is being implemented.
A couple of weeks ago, I challenged the Minister of Transport, who only know to call people bad mind. I challenge him to a debate on public transport. But at no time, comrades, did the People's National Party ever say that we are against a school bus system to transport our children. Never. Where we have a difference is how we're going to do it. And our plan is a better plan than what they have.
Mikhail Phillips, opposition spokesman on transport. Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, Favour Williams, is denouncing the vandalism of her political posters in the constituency. Speaking with Nationwide News, Williams says she has urged her supporters not to retaliate.
This is not where we should be in Jamaica. I have an opponent in the constituency now. That opponent started putting up her flags and posters, and I indicated to everyone that we do nothing about those posters and those flags. You know, even when people are saying to me, "Oh, Mrs. Williams, MP. I said, no, we live in a democracy. The opposition is free to put up posters and flags and whatever else they want to put up. We're going to leave them, and they were up for the longest while. And so it was really shocking to me when I started to put up my posters and flags that I saw where they were taken down and some of them were vandalized.
Mrs. Williams says that the manner in which the posters were damaged made her uncomfortable.
It was very shocking to me to discover that not only were posters and flags damaged, but the way in which they were damaged sent shocks through my system. Because when I looked at it, it looked as if somebody took a knife and just went down the middle. I looked at my face and my eyes were pierced out, and I can't tell you the feeling, the chill that went through me.
Favour Williams, MP for Eastern St Andrew. MPs and caretakers from both major political parties have complained about their election posters being vandalised. Now, the Jamaica Debates Commission says it's in heightened preparation mode for national debates ahead of the next general election. Chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission, Brian Schmidt, spoke with our news centre on the weekend.
From a technical point of view, we are as ready as we can be. From a production point of view, we are pretty much as ready as can be at this point, because of course we don't know when the elections are being held, and as such we have no idea when the debates will be held. And of course we don't have any special crystal ball or intel that lets us know the date before anyone else. We find out the date of the elections the same time as the general public, and what happens is that we have literally 1 week in which to air and present the first of, in this case, 3 debates, because we're moving into a general election. So it's 3 debates as compared to the local government elections where there are just 2 debates.
There will be a leadership debate between Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and opposition leader Mark Golding. There will be a debate on the economy and a debate on social issues. Those 2 debates will be a showdown between teams of 3 representing both the GLP and the PNP. Schmidt says a sponsorship is now being sought to cover the attendant costs.
At this point, we have some confirmations and we are in deep discussions with a number of entities. But at this point, we do not have the level of sponsorship that we require. But, I am confident that we will reach there because, what tends to happen is when people have a greater sense of what is happening or it is closer to the election, the potential election date, the sense of urgency will kick in and so on. So I think we will get there, but it's a process. It takes some time.
Brian Schmidt, chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission. And Brian Schmidt says the Jamaica Debates Commission has decided to stage a team debate on the economy that replaces the usual showdown between the finance minister and their opposition shadow.
This time around, the debate on the economy is going to be a team debate. The reason being that when we have done our post-debate research, which we have done after every debate, that has been a debate that has the least audience attention. And what the audience has said in their feedback is that it's a bit too, let me not say difficult, it's a little bit too unrelatable for them because it's all about figures and so on. But what they are very excited about are team debates. So our mandate is to get as many people involved in the process as possible. So we said, okay, we're going to try a team debate this time around and see if we can get more people involved and interested in that debate.
Brian Schmidt, chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission. State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Senator Delano Seawright, says airline seat capacity from Latin America into Jamaica will double this summer compared to 2024.
Copa Airlines alone will be operating 12 flights per week between Panama City and Montego Bay and Kingston with load factors of around 86%. LATAM continues non-stop flights between Lima, Peru and Montego Bay, Jamaica. And we also have new charter services between Ecuador and Montego Bay, Jamaica that will bring over 1,000 additional visitors this summer.
Together, Copa Airlines and LATAM Airlines are now providing more than 10,000 seats per month into Jamaica during July and August, marking a historic high in connectivity from Latin America. Senator Seawright says this increase bodes well for the tourism industry.
What this does is that it translates directly into more jobs for Jamaicans, more business for hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants, ground transportation operators, attractions, and so on, and more money circulating in communities from Negril through to Kingston. So these are the tangible results of our strategy to diversify our market streams, grow tourism, and improve lives and livelihoods across the island.
Senator Delana Seawright is State Minister of Tourism. The new president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, Winston Anderson, is urging Jamaica and other Caribbean countries to become full members of its appellate jurisdiction. Justice Anderson was sworn in during the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community on Sunday. Mahira Stewart has that story.
I, Winston Charles Anderson, having been appointed a president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, do hereby swear that I will faithfully exercise the office of President of the Caribbean Court of Justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and in accordance with the Code of Judicial Conduct. So help me God.
That was the moment Justice Winston Anderson became not only the first Jamaican president of the CCJ, but also the youngest at the age of 49. Justice Anderson replaces Justice Adrian Saunders at the helm of the regional court. The decision to appoint Justice Anderson was made at the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM held in Barbados in February this year. In his acceptance speech, Justice Anderson aimed a light-hearted jab at Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness as he urged those countries not yet a part of the CCJ's appellate jurisdiction to join the fray.
After 20 years, the court has still not attracted full support of all eligible states for the appellate jurisdiction, with 5 out of a possible 11 states joining that jurisdiction. I am hopeful that during my tenure, other states will fulfill their treaty obligations and become full members of the appellate jurisdiction. And I'm looking straight ahead as I uttered those words.
Justice Anderson says he, alongside the Caribbean judiciary, must continue to work to make the region the ideal place to live.
As I assume the office of President of the Court, I do so not in isolation, but as part of a broader regional movement of national judiciaries dedicated to delivering accessible justice, ensuring respect for and advancing the rule of law, protecting and promoting human rights, and supporting sustainable development in our countries. As members of the judiciary, we share in the responsibility to make the Caribbean the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in peace and security.
Justice Anderson was born in St. Anne in 1960. He says his Jamaican roots are a key part of the man he has become.
This moment is not mine alone. It belongs to all those who shaped my journey, which began in the quiet of rural St. Anne, the Garden Parish in the heart of Jamaica. My upbringing was modest, but rich in lessons molding me into the person I am today. My community was one where values such as discipline, hard work, integrity, respect, and perseverance were taught by example. These lessons have lit the mileposts of my life from a young boy to today.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says that Justice Anderson's appointment marks a proud moment for the region.
Today, Honorable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, I extend warm and sincere congratulations. Your appointment is a moment of pride, not only for Jamaica, but for the entire region. You bring to this office a distinguished legal mind, a profound commitment to Caribbean jurisprudence, and decades of service grounded in scholarship and vision. You bring to this presidency a wealth of experience, including being the founding chairman of the court's educational arm Your scholarly and judicial work continues to shape regional jurisprudence and inspire the next generation of Caribbean legal minds.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Be in the know. Learn how local government is working for you. Follow us on Instagram and X at LocalGovJA and on Facebook at Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. The time by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is
6:19.
50 years of dreams. 50 years of finger-licking good memories, yeah.
Thank you, Jamaica, for 50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Regional and international news this morning. Regional news. Veteran journalist Ricky Singh is dead. Singh, who had been ailing for some time, died in Barbados on Saturday. He was 88. Singh, who was born in Guyana, had a career in journalism spanning more than 6 decades. The noted political commentator and columnist wrote for major newspapers across the region. He also contributed to media outlets in North America and Britain. He was the founding president of the now defunct Caribbean Association of Media Workers. Singh received several accolades, including an honorary doctorate from the University of the West Indies and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Government of Guyana in 2023. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett says he was an influential force in Caribbean media. International. 3 days after flash floods inundated central Texas, the largest search and rescue efforts are shifting towards a recovery operation. At least 81 people have been confirmed dead and another 41 are missing. Most of the fatalities were in Kerr County, where Riverside Christian Girls Camp was flooded, claiming the lives of a number of children and leaving others missing. Other areas to record deaths include Travis County, Burnett County, Williamson County, Kendall County, and Tom Green County. Officials say the death toll is certain to continue rising as many of the affected areas remain on flood watch until Monday evening. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Taxi drivers, ready to start earning more money? Join Amber On Time, Jamaica's taxi app built just for you. 0 commission in the first month, no catch. Plus get a free vehicle tracker to protect you and your ride. Stolen vehicle recovery and panic alarm response included. Download the Amber Captain app today and start driving. Or roll through to our office at 30 Westminster Road, Kingston and sign up on the spot. So whether you're at Kingston, Mobay, Ochi or anywhere else, work there. Come take advantage.
Now For your morning sports, coach of the West Indies, Darren Sammy, is again bemoaning the inconsistency of his players following their 133-run loss against Australia in the second test in Grenada on Sunday. The win gave the Aussies an unsaleable 2-0 lead in the three-match series. Chasing 277 to win, the Windies were bowled out for 143 in their second innings. Captain Roston Chase made 34 and Shamar Joseph at 24. Michelle Stark and Nathan Lyon picked up 3 wickets each, while Josh Hazelwood took 2. Batting a second time, the tourists made 243. Cameron Green made 52 and Steve Smith 71. Shamar Joseph took 4 wickets. Final scores: Australia 286 and 243, West Indies 253 and 143. Sammy says the players could have been more disciplined.
Not good enough, for sure. I mean, yes, we all know we're playing against the number 1 team in the world. 4 quality bowlers in the top 10. But the display, we've just not shown when it is tough to find a way to absorb pressure. You look at on the other side, we've had the top order under 100 for 4 wickets down. Probably in all 3 or 4 innings we've played. But they find a way, or maybe our bowlers are not disciplined enough, but they found a way, and that's what the top teams do. We try to get to that position.
He says the bowlers cannot be faulted for the team's defeat.
This is the level of consistency we look at. That's right now, our bowling, we can't fall in. They've gotten 40 wickets, I think. I don't know when last we got 40 wickets against a top 3 team in 2 test matches. So the bowlers are doing the job. Yes, there could be more improvement in being more disciplined, but we can't fault them. They're doing their jobs. It's just that our batting has not been up to par against a really good attack.
Darren Sammy, the third test is set for Sabina Park from July 12 to 16. Jamaica's under-19 cricketers went down by 4 runs to the Windward Islands in the West Indies Rising Stars Championships in St. Kitts and Nevis on Sunday. Chasing 197 to win, the Jamaicans were bowled out for 192. David Dwar made 72. Batting first, the Windwards made 196. Kurt Murray made 52. Rashawn McKenzie, Tamari Redwood, and DeMarcus Scott each took 2 wickets each for Jamaica. 2021 World Under-20 champion Akira Nugent won the 100 meters hurdles at the Wanda Diamond League in Eugene on the weekend. The winning time, 12.32 seconds. Nugent, who finished second at the recent national championships, is keeping her preparation strategy for the Tokyo World Championships close to her chest.
I can't tell you that, but I'm where I need to be. I'm where my coach wants me to be right now, being a consistent mid, and that's like 12-3, 12-4. So being right there is really good for me right now.
Nugent says more thought has gone into planning her race schedule for the season.
That's like my speed work, because really I haven't really been doing much in practice because it's like a long season and we're trying to gauge it better than I did last year.
Akira Nugent. Finally, in your morning sports, I Dream Again, the mount of Robert Halladine for trainer Jason DaCosta, won the 66 running of the Jamaica St. Leger at Caymanas Park on Sunday. Running at odds of 5-1, I Dream Again upset 1,000 Guineas winner Burning Edge and the 2,000 Guineas winner Sensational Soul to win the second jewel in the local Triple Crown.
As the field turned for home in the St. Leger, and Hansa continues to deny them. I Dream Again trying to close up. Bob the Builder asked to come with a run on the rail. Burning Hedge is running strong on the outside, but Hansa could have stolen it. Arrives at the furlong pole. It is Hansa getting chops on that left-hand stick. She's a surprise of the party. They'll arrive at the 16th pole. Here is Burning Hedge and I Dream Again. Hansa running out of steam. I Dream Again charging up in the center. I Dream Again upsets them in the St. Leger, beating Hansa and Burning Edge.
And that's it for your morning sports.
So where you get?
The new Popeyes blackened chicken sandwich, my girl. The flavor just hits different.
Blackened like it burn up?
Nah, man. Blackened because of the color of the Louisiana herbs and spices. Blackened like the flavor buck. No breading and the seasoning soak deep in the chicken. But get yours and try it, cause me nah share yours. Get the new Popeyes blackened chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Business this morning, U.S. President Donald Trump has warned that countries which side with the policies of the BRICS alliance that go against U.S. interests will be hit with an extra 10% tariff. Trump has long criticized BRICS, an organization whose members include China, Russia, and India, which was designed to boost countries' international standing and challenge the U.S. and Western Europe. A deadline for countries to agree to a tariff deal with the U.S. has been set for July 9, but U.S. officials now say they will begin on August 1. So far, the U.S. has only struck trade agreements with the UK and Vietnam. However, Britain and America have still not reached a deal over taxes for UK steel imported by the U.S. In the meantime, stocks edged downwards and the dollar drifted near multi-year lows on Monday after U.S. officials flagged a delay on tariffs but failed to provide specifics on the changes, while oil prices slid as OPEC opened the supply spigots more than expected. Investors have grown somewhat used to the uncertainty surrounding U.S. trade policy, and the initial market reaction was cautious. S&P 500 futures fell 0.44% and Nasdaq futures were down 0.6% in early European trade hours. Europe's benchmark stocks index was down just 0.02%, while MSCI's broadcast index of Asia Pacific shares outside Japan eased 0.6%. And in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar will open trading today, selling for an average $160.76 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican will open selling for an average $118.51 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican dollar will begin trading for an average $220.23 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:31.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated warm staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Back to school doesn't have to break the bank. Swap instead of shop. Join Nationwide 90 FM at our back to school fair on Saturday, July 26 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park in the western city of Montego Bay. Bring those books your kids no longer need and swap them for ones they do. Plus, enjoy fun activities, entertainment, and meet your favorite nationwide personalities. It's all happening in St. James on Saturday, July 26th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park. See you there.
So much for granted, we're too blind to see the view. Sometimes I lose my way, just existing every day, drifting away from where my heart belongs, when my heart belongs to you. And it all begins with you. The secret of life is walking closer to the truth. Even the mountains bow to you. The stars are ornaments in the sky. They testify that it all begins with you. The more of life I live to see, I feel more like a child. The lessons that I have to learn, I know will take a while. And if it takes eternity, I hope your plans for me surround me with the gift of joy and make my days complete. Embrace me with your love and help me rise above. Show me the way to.
Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, thank you so much for coming on over and joining us this Monday morning. It is Monday, July 7, 2025. Happy Monday to all of you joining us on the YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. Good morning to all our friends out there in Radioland. Good morning. I'm Tona Thomas.
Good morning, Tona. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. My name is George.
Good morning, Judge.
He's in the morning, girl.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, man. Good night this Monday. Good with you?
Yes, all is well.
You took some rest on the weekend?
Kind of. There was a lot going on.
Yes.
And it was difficult not to pay attention to it.
Yes. I met a couple of your young supporters in Davis Pen, North Trelawney on Friday. Came over specifically to say hi to you, 2 students of Holland High School. And they were rather crestfallen when they came across and Tona wasn't there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially the young lady. But you could have seen it.
A special good morning to both of them. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday morning.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right. As you said, there's been so much from the weekend to talk about. This bus issue is being kicked from one half of the field to the next, and some wild claims made. I want to just say, just on that, just in passing, that one of the things I've always said about legislators in any country, legislators need to live the life that most of the people who they are agitating to serve live, because it gives you an understanding of, you know, what people go through every day. And as I hear the criticisms of the rural school bus program, you know, one question that came to my mind: if you take Mark Golding, Michael Phillips, and Peter Bunting together and ask them, say, okay, gentlemen, I want you to outline to the people the difficulties you faced going to school in your time, and hear what they had to say. Because it makes a difference, you know. Men who were chauffeured to school from infant, from daycare, right the way to university, or maybe they drove themselves. You're going to have a different perspective than for the thousands of Jamaica, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands over time, who have a fight. I mean, you had the Hampton service to take you to high school. You were dropped at prep school, weren't you?
No, I walked.
You walk. Oh, nearby. Good. All right, even that give you perspective.
Yes.
But there are many of us, someday you reach a school and you're sour. Not because you sour, because you're being, but the people them who push and pull you, and you're at the mercy of no school. Has Bunting, Golding, and Michael Phillips ever had that experience? When Michael went to the high schools, he went and Senator Bunting and Mark Golding. How many taxis you took, gentlemen? How many times did you fight to get on a bus? How many times were you told no schoolers? Peter, Mark, Michael. So when you don't have that experience, you can take up certain lines, is all I'm saying. This morning though, it's not for that. That will come up later. I got a letter sometime last week from a public servant who wants to remain anonymous, who said to me that they wanted to make a comment on this thing concerning Dennis Chung because it refuses to go away. And they even dropped in a little bit of Ronif Lawrence in it as well. And I felt it necessary to read this letter. And the public servant, I won't reveal the gender, but said, boy, George, you see what I'm persecute people. I just hope that you keep this thing anonymous, because I just want to say something on behalf of people like us in the public service. So I'm just going to read verbatim what this civil servant sent to me last week. Dear George, I considered writing this letter multiple times, but figured that this matter would lose its relevance by news cycle standards. To my dismay, it appears that during this election season, the character assassinations of public servants refuses to die a natural death. The attacks on the reputations of public servants gives me great trepidation, considering that I am one such Jamaican who has opted to give service to this great nation through the public service for quite a few years. We have seen the cut and the thrust of politics expand its aim beyond politicians, such as Prime Minister Holness, to officials who have no direct relationship to politics, like Keisha Prince Kamika, Stephanie Fiddler-Blake, Ronif Lawrence, Dennis Chung, and more recently Pamela Monroe Ellis. I find two of these instances similar but simultaneously very different. Ronif Lawrence of the Integrity Commission was recently appointed to act as Director of Corruption Prosecution. His only crime is having a very proud friend of 20 years, a friend who happens to be impugned in character in this moment due to his and his political party's utterances about a matter that originated within Lawrence's place of work, wherein Lawrence's recent appointment could aid or seeks to aid in unseating a current Prime Minister through foul means. The situation is convoluted, despicable, and raises serious ethical issues, but is not criminal. Mr. Lawrence's guilt by association places his reputation on the line over something that he may or may not have participated in. The second matter that has been revolving through the turnstile of lives is the appointment of Mr. Dennis Chung to the Financial Investigations Division. Chung is a chartered accountant who, in his capacity as a public commentator, made some remarks when asked, and this person underlines and puts in bold, when asked, about the likelihood of an individual to have multiple bank accounts. Mr. Chung, a Jamaican commentator, used the education that he earned, with his vast knowledge of local and international business and financial systems, to posit his most intellectual and reasonable response, only to be dragged through the court of public opinion when he is selected to head a public body. Now, in various iterations of these issues, we have learned far too much about these people who, for the most part, have taken on a quiet and unassuming role towards nation building. The obliteration of a person's good name cannot be lumped and conflated with politics. I put it to you, George, that this may be the reason we see so many undecided within our polls. There is a subset of our population who wants nothing to do with politics and would sooner work undocumented in a foreign country than to subject themselves to the grandstanding and entitled manner in which people's reputations are scantily regarded to score political points. They mock our politics and choose neither to participate nor to be educated in it. Where these issues differ is that while the walls have gone up around Ronnie Florence, I venture to say that Dennis Chung is not okay. His first few weeks in the new role is characterized by public shaming, several renditions of his resume, attacks on his ability to do a job for which he may have spent weeks preparing a solid and revolutionary approach to its management that earned him the favor of a panel. At this rate, we may never get to see what he can truly do because we have already begun appraising his performance without offering him an opportunity to do the job. Now, George, that is the foundation on which every public servant's tenure is built: the opportunity, resources, and the time to do a job for which you are then appraised. This is not fair to him, and it is not fair to Jamaica. Again, I will venture to say that his motivation may very well be diluted. Any normal new job insecurities that he may have had is now heightened and weighing on him. How does he lead a team, learn the job, and drown out the noise? Now, I don't know Dennis Chung, but I ask that he be allowed the space to properly and confidently perform his role. It is his right as a duly recruited Jamaican, as a patriot, and as a public servant. The fact is that the transformation of the public service is necessary to remove the well-touted bureaucracy that has become commonplace and that hinders business. The reality is that the public sector needs people like Dennis Chung, who decide to remove themselves from the sidelines to make a direct contribution to a system that they themselves have often criticized. We cannot ask for patriots and then ridicule the patriots for becoming patriots. It is nonsensical, and we are not a nonsensical populace. I implore Jamaica that while we seek to discuss very important matters, that we always try to maintain people's good name. In all the cases, these officers have not been found guilty of anything. However, their lives have been put on display in a way that will follow them beyond their current capacities. It is not acceptable that we align the invasive interrogation of a person's life to their choice in careers just because we can. The effects are far-reaching that go beyond what is instantly before us. Years in service to Jamaica, a public sector patriot. There you have it.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:46.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated warm staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best, because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. Morning, Tona.
Morning to you, Ludlow.
Morning to the listeners of Motor Info. It's a bright and sunny morning, Monday morning, and guess what? Things are a bit different this morning in that the vehicles are on the road, but not much in numbers. You know, you could count the number of vehicles heading into that entrance to Immaculate going up to the gym. That was looking like it was getting busy in that area. But apart from that, coming off the Manor Park, Armour Heights, and that Norbrook onto Constance Spring, it was really free-flowing. Oliver Road remains free-flowing. Shortwood Road is the same thing going across to Grand Spain, and then Constance Spring is really free-flowing. And up Waterloo all the way down to connect to Waterloo and further down towards Waterloo, towards the intersection of Hope and Hope Road, and going across the Trafalgar is really free-flowing. Constance Spring Road, normally busy, especially coming from West Kings House Road side, going further down, and are coming off Reddy's Road onto East Park, then onto Constance Spring Road going down. So it's free-flowing also, and in the vicinity of places like Cassia Park, going down towards Mullines Road, free-flowing, going down to Walton Park, in the vicinity of the 4 roads, it is all clear for the time being. Now let's see what happens come about 7:20. But George, I want to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Driving in the corporate area, and if you're driving out of town, you know, it's two different types of driving. And if you're not familiar with the roads, especially a sudden corner, you can, end up in a sudden corner. And some people, the motorists, they tend to drive very fast and without proper control, And I would say maybe if they were like 6-shift drivers, they would probably have a better control. But driving, if you have more than one people, you multiply those and you get the weight of the passengers inside there, plus your weight, and it can really cause a problem, especially you don't know how to negotiate a corner, or you're not aware that you're going to approach a corner. So we have to be very careful, and every day we hear it's spoken on the radio. But remember, a lot of people listen to different media, it's not all the way they're listening to the radio, and they pay different attention to social media and all of that, but not to things like what can cause an accident and so on and so forth. So, it's important that we try and get the message, continue to try and get the message across. Speeding doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right?
Yes, indeed.
It's over to you, George.
Thank you there, Ludlow. Thank you very much. Ludlow there with Street Smarts 1. Up next, your word of the day.
Your word of the day is spelled Tagliatelle, spelled Tagliatelle.
Tagliatelle. Tagliatelle. Tagliatelle.
Tagliatelle is your word of the day. It's a noun and it means egg noodles cut in long, flat pieces. Tagliatelle, egg noodles cut in long, flat pieces. It's a noun. And let's see if dictionary.com is going to tell us when this word was first recorded. Tagliatelle, not seeing that. But to use the word in a sentence, and Jermaine is going to post a picture for us on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, of what tagliatelle looks like. It's spelled Tagliatelle. That is spot on. It's egg noodles cut in long, flat pieces, to use it in a sentence. Some of the diners refused to try the cricket tagliatelle, but those who do, including me, are surprised at how good it tastes. Tagliatelle is your word of the day. You might have reason to use this one, or perhaps not. But if you do, Tagliatelle, tagliatelle, egg noodles cut in long, flat pieces. It's a noun. Yeah.
It's a noun.
Yeah.
All right. Very well.
And I had to go to a different page to find a sentence for the word because I don't know. The sentences that dictionary.com is providing from these different media entities in foreign, the sentence is just not making any sense. And these sentences are being provided by places like, media entities like Washington Times, New York Times.
I think they're all AI
BBC.
From those sources because I can't human being write them sentences there.
Yeah. The best one was from BBC that I found elsewhere. Yeah. So, but that's your word of the day.
Yeah. It's just like when you have legislators who make road traffic laws. Mm-hmm. So I have a problem with a legislator who makes a road traffic law who doesn't drive. You have chauffeur. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you go to parliament and you say, well, put this in, put that in. But you don't drive. So you don't have the practical experience of being behind the wheel and having a practical situation to deal with. So I can't, I find it hard to accept, even though it's the reality. So it's just like, people who you don't take bus, you've never taken the bus, none of your picnic them not take bus, none of your close relatives them don't have the it's a hard deal, it's a challenge every day if you go confront the public school system, the public system, you go be it, put on clothes, turn up out the roadside and pray that you get a vehicle to go to school. When you don't have that perspective, you can't say anything. You'll be motivated to say many things about public transport. Yeah? And you're going to sound out of touch. Anyway.
Living Well is brought to you by the New Walters Pharmacy, Black River, St. Elizabeth. Everything exceptional.
Today on Living Well, Chlordane. Most people go about their daily lives never thinking beyond what they do on a daily basis, in addition to the things they have planned to do. If you buy or build a home, you may not ever think about the chemicals that may be used at any stage of building, or what may have been used on the house if you buy one. One such chemical is known as chlordane. Chlordane is a man-made chemical that was used as a pesticide in the United States from 1948 to 1988. It is sometimes referred to by the trade names Octachlor and Velsicol 1068. It is a thick liquid whose color ranges from colorless to amber depending on its purity. It may have no smell or a mild irritating smell. We do not know what it tastes like. Chlordane is not a single chemical, but is a mixture of many related chemicals, of which about 10 are major components. Some of the major components are transchlordane, cis-chloridane, beta-chloridane, heptachlor, and trans-no-chlor. Chlordane does not dissolve in water. Therefore, before it can be used as a spray, it must be placed in water with emulsifiers, in other words, soap-like substances, which results in a milky-looking mixture. From 1983 until 1988, chlordane's only approved use was to control termites in homes. The pesticide was applied underground around the foundation of homes. When chlordane is used in the soil around a house, it kills termites that come into contact with it. Before 1978, chlordane was also used as a pesticide on agricultural crops, lawns and gardens, and as a fumigating agent. Because of concern over cancer risk, evidence of human exposure and buildup in body fat, persistence in the environment, and danger to wildlife, the EPA canceled the use of chlordane on food crops and phased out other above-the-ground uses over the next 5 years. In 1988, when the EPA canceled chlordane's use for controlling termites, all approved use of chlordane in the United States stopped. However, here is the kicker. Manufacture for export continues. It would be interesting to know what is being used in Jamaica to treat for termites or protect against termite infestation. Today, people receive the highest exposure to chlordane from living in homes that were treated with chlordane for termites prior to 1988. Chlordane may be found in the air in these homes for many years after treatment. You may come into contact with chlordane while digging in soil around the foundation of homes, where it was applied to protect the homes against termites. Chlordane can enter the body through the skin if skin contact occurs with contaminated soils. through the lungs if breathed in with contaminated air, and through the digestive tract if swallowed. For example, people living in houses that have been treated with chlordane will be exposed mostly by breathing the vapor in the air. Workers who sprayed chlordane as a pesticide were exposed mostly by breathing the compound in the air and by contact with the skin. Most health effects in humans that may be linked to chlordane exposure are on the nervous system and digestive system and the liver. Chlordane is also a major cause of cancer. These are the chemicals that are usually used for termite treatment. Arsenics, trioxide, befethrin, permethrin, fipronil, and imidacloprid. Remember, chlordane is still manufactured for export to the Caribbean and other countries. Even though none of the other chemicals mentioned are safe, chlordane is of particular concern. Ask what is being used in your house to treat termites. That's Living Well for today. Tune in next time for What is Congestive Heart Failure?
Living Well was brought to you by the New Walters Pharmacy, Black River, St. Elizabeth. Everything exceptional.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
You remember when we used to write to our pen pals? Then things evolved into using emails, instant messages, Facebook. Now we can FaceTime, and the rest we say is history. So how can we use social media responsibly? Hi, I'm Tana, and it's time for your lifestyle pages. Be careful what you write on your Facebook profile. For example, if you have shared your place of employment, it would be unwise for you to vent your frustration or speak negatively about your coworker or even your boss. Chances are your boss could see your post and that would not end well for you. Next thing, no one has to know your every move. You could potentially be opening up yourself to get robbed, sexually assaulted, or worse. Predators can use this tool to determine when you're alone or when you're not at home. A lot to tackle, but next time. I'm Tana, and those were your lifestyle pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore. Kingston or Bay. The temperature by National Supply is...
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Monday, July 7, 2025, Information Minister condemns PNP's attack on the rural school bus program, and the PNP's Peter Bunting says he will not apologize for criticizing the buses. Jamaica Debates Commission in heightened preparation mode ahead of the general election debates. And in regional news, the veteran Caribbean journalist Ricky Singh checks out at age 88.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Information Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon has condemned what she describes as a vulgar attack by the opposition PNP on the rural school bus program. The PNP has launched a coordinated attack on the government's plan to provide transportation to thousands of students living in rural Jamaica, decrying the use of what it says are old buses. Opposition leader Mark Golding continued the line of attack during an address to comrades in West Portland recently.
And I see your MP coming with his old bus plan. These old buses that he wants to say is going to provide a solution, a transport solution. It's going to be pure problem, I tell you that. Our solution is to empower the taxi drivers and the bus drivers of Jamaica with a subsidy that we will pay them so they can carry the pick to them and you don't have to find all that money. And we're starting with 20,000 families. And as the economy improves, we're going to grow it till we're providing a proper subsidy across the nation to all who need it. And the transport sector, the private operators, the little man, them who have them Pro Box and them have them AR wagon, and they will be the beneficiaries of the money that is going to run for that program.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. But according to Minister Maurice Dixon, the PNP's line of attack is shameful.
I am extremely disappointed to hear the baseless attacks on the rural school bus system. These buses are used in the United States and Canada. They are manufactured in accordance with the safety specifications of the U.S. Department of Transportation, and they undergo a rigorous maintenance and inspection regime before and after arriving in Jamaica.
Senator Dr. Dina Morris Dixon, the Minister of Education. And the Education Minister says parents can rest assured the buses will meet the requisite safety standards.
Upon arrival, each bus undergoes a comprehensive inspection and fitness testing consistent with international best practices, and they will be serviced regularly to ensure continued reliability. These buses will be equipped with GPS tracking that allows parents to monitor their child's journey in real time, with onboard cameras, speed limiters, geofencing, and a fully cashless payment system. We're delivering a safe, secure, and convenient transportation experience that brings peace of mind to families and supports consistent school attendance in a cost-effective way.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, the Minister of Education and Information. Meanwhile, an unrepentant Peter Bunting says he will not withdraw scathing comments he made about the government's rural school bus program. Speaking at a PNP meeting in Christiana on Sunday, Senator Bunting says he would not allow his children to ride on what he describes as old buses.
Yes, I raised the alarm and warned, so we don't want to kill off poor people picking with some old bus. And I make no apology for that. And let us give some background. These buses that they're bringing in, these are not pre-owned vehicles. These are retired old buses. Many are over 10 to 15 years old with hundreds of thousands of miles on the clock. So when I sound the alarm, we don't care what the labor rights say or who they say we are.
That's Peter Bunting, the opposition spokesman on security. Meanwhile, the opposition spokesman on transport, Michael Phillips, says the PNP's main problem is with the way in which the bus program is being implemented.
A couple of weeks ago, I challenged the Minister of Transport, who only know to call people bad mind. I challenged him to a debate on public transport. But at no time, comrades, did the People's National Party ever say that we are against a school bus system to transport our children. Never. Where we have a difference is how we're going to do it. And our plan is a better plan than what they have.
Michael Phillips, the opposition spokesman on transport. Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Andrew, Favour Williams, is denouncing the vandalism of her posters in the constituency. Speaking with Nationwide News, Favour Williams says she has urged her supporters not to retaliate.
This is not where we should be in Jamaica. I have an opponent in the constituency now. That opponent started putting up her flags and posters, and I indicated to everyone that we do nothing about those posters and those flags. You know, even when people are saying to me, "Oh, Mrs. Williams, MP. I said, no, we live in a democracy. The opposition is free to put up posters and flags and whatever else they want to put up. We're going to leave them, and they were up for the longest while. And so it was really shocking to me when I started to put up my posters and flags that I saw where they were taken down and some of them were vandalized.
Favour Williams says the manner in which the posters were damaged made her uncomfortable.
It was very shocking to me to discover that not only were posters and flags damaged, but the way in which they were damaged sent shocks through my system. Because when I looked at it, it looked as if somebody took a knife and just went down the middle. I looked at my face and my eyes were pierced out, and I can't tell you the feeling, the chill that went through me.
Favour Williams, MP for Eastern St Andrew. She's among several MPs and caretakers from both major political parties who've complained about their election posters being vandalised. The Jamaica Debates Commission says it's in heightened preparation mode for national debates ahead of the next general election. Chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission, Brian Schmidt, spoke with our news centre on the weekend.
From a technical point of view, we are as ready as we can be. From a production point of view, we are pretty much as ready as can be at this point, because of course we don't know when the elections are being held, and as such we have no idea when the debates will be held. And of course we don't have any special crystal ball or intel that lets us know the date before anyone else. We find out the date of the elections the same time as the general public, and what happens is that we have literally 1 week in which to air and present the first of, in this case, 3 debates, because we're moving into a general election. So it's 3 debates as compared to the local government elections where there are just 2 debates.
Brian Schmidt, chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission. He says there will be a leadership debate between the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, and opposition leader, Mark Golding. There will be a debate on the economy and one on social issues. Those 2 debates will be a showdown between teams of 3 representing both the JLP and PNP. Schmidt says sponsorship is now being sought to cover the attendant costs.
At this point, we have some confirmations and we are in deep discussions with a number of entities. But at this point, we do not have the level of sponsorship that we require. But, I am confident that we will reach there, because, what tends to happen is when people have a greater sense of what is happening, or it is closer to the election, the potential election date, the sense of urgency will kick in and so on. So I think we will get there, but it's a process. It takes some time.
And Brian Schmidt says the Jamaica Debates Commission has decided to stage a team debate on the economy that replaces the usual showdown between the finance minister and their opposition shadow.
This time around, the debate on the economy is going to be a team debate. The reason being that when we have done our post-debate research, which we have done after every debate, that has been a debate that has the least audience attention. And what the audience has said in their feedback is that it's a bit too, let me not say difficult, it's a little bit too unrelatable for them, because it's all about figures and so on. But what they are very excited about are team debates. So our mandate is to get as many people involved in the process as possible. So we said, okay, we're going to try a team debate this time around and see if we can get more people involved and interested in that debate.
Brian Schmidt, chairman of the Jamaica Debates Commission. State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism, Senator Delana Sivrite, says airline seat capacity from Latin America into Jamaica is set to double this summer compared to 2024.
Copa Airlines alone will be operating 12 flights per week between Panama City and Montego Bay and Kingston, with load factors of around 86%. LATAM continues non-stop flights between Lima, Peru and Montego Bay, Jamaica. And we also have new charter services between Ecuador and Montego Bay, Jamaica that will bring over 1,000 additional visitors this summer.
Together, Copa Airlines and LATAM Airlines are now providing more than 10,000 seats per month into Jamaica during July and August, marking a historic high in connectivity from Latin America. Senator Sivrite says this increase bodes well for the tourism sector.
What this does is that it translates directly into more jobs for Jamaicans, more business for hotels, Airbnbs, restaurants, ground transportation operators, attractions, and so on, and more money circulating in communities from Negril through to Kingston. So these are the tangible results of our strategy to diversify our market streams, grow tourism, and improve lives and livelihoods across the island.
Senator Delana Sivrite, State Minister for Tourism. The new president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, Winston Anderson, is urging Jamaica and other Caribbean countries to become full members of its appellate jurisdiction. Justice Anderson was sworn in during the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community on Sunday. Mahira Stewart has that story.
I, Winston Charles Anderson, having been appointed a president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, do hereby swear that I will faithfully exercise the office of President of the Caribbean Court of Justice without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and in accordance with the Code of Judicial Conduct. So help me God.
That was the moment Justice Winston Anderson became not only the first Jamaican president of the CCJ, but also the youngest at the age of 49. Justice Anderson replaces Justice Adrian Saunders at the helm of the regional court. The decision to appoint Justice Anderson was made at the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM held in Barbados in February this year. In his acceptance speech, Justice Anderson aimed a light-hearted jab at Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness as he urged those countries not yet a part of the CCJ's appellate jurisdiction to join the fray.
After 20 years, the court has still not attracted full support of all eligible states for the appellate jurisdiction, with 5 out of a possible 11 states joining that jurisdiction. I am hopeful that during my tenure, other states will fulfill their treaty obligations and become full members of the appellate jurisdiction. And I'm looking straight ahead as I uttered those words.
Justice Anderson says he, alongside the Caribbean judiciary, must continue to work to make the region the ideal place to live.
As I assume the office of President of the Court, I do so not in isolation, but as part of a broader regional movement of national judiciaries dedicated to delivering accessible justice, ensuring respect for and advancing the rule of law, protecting and promoting human rights, and supporting sustainable development in our countries. As members of the judiciary, we share in the responsibility to make the Caribbean the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and retire in peace and security.
Justice Anderson was born in St. Anne in 1960. He says his Jamaican roots are a key part of the man he has become.
This moment is not mine alone. It belongs to all those who shaped my journey, which began in the quiet of rural St. Anne, the Garden Parish in the heart of Jamaica. My upbringing was modest, but rich in lessons molding me into the person I am today. My community was one where values such as discipline, hard work, integrity, respect, and perseverance were taught by example. These lessons have lit the mileposts of my life from a young boy to today.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister Andrew Holness says Justice Anderson's appointment marks a proud moment for the region.
To the Honourable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, I extend warm and sincere congratulations. Your appointment is a moment of pride, not only for Jamaica, but for the entire region. You bring to this office a distinguished legal mind, a profound commitment to Caribbean jurisprudence, and decades of service grounded in scholarship and vision. You bring to this presidency a wealth of experience, including being the founding chairman of the court's educational arm. Your scholarly and judicial work continues to shape regional jurisprudence and inspire the next generation of Caribbean legal minds.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen, says Justice Anderson's ascension reflects the ability of Jamaicans to be leaders worldwide.
A proud son of Jamaica and the Caribbean, he embodies what is possible when our institutions invest in leadership that is rooted in principle and dedicated to purpose. His appointment is not only a personal triumph, but also a resounding testament to our regional confidence in our own talent, values also, and ability to lead on the world stage. Justice Anderson, I offer you my congratulations. May you be granted strength, discernment, and continued success as you assume this sacred trust.
Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General. Regional news now. Veteran journalist Ricky Singh is dead. Singh, who had been ailing for some time, died in Barbados on Saturday. He was 88. Singh, who was born in Guyana, had a career in journalism spanning more than 6 decades. The noted political commentator and columnist wrote for major newspapers across the region. He also contributed to media outlets in North America and Britain. Ricky Singh was the founding president of the now-defunct Caribbean Association of Media Workers. He received several accolades, including an honorary doctorate from the University of the West Indies and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Guyanese government in 2023. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carlo Barnett says he was an influential force in Caribbean media. And further afield, 3 days after flash floods inundated central Texas, the largest search and rescue efforts are shifting towards a recovery operation. At least 81 people have been confirmed dead and another 41 are missing. Most of the fatalities were in Kerr County, where a Riverside Christian girls' camp was flooded, claiming the lives of a number of children and leaving others missing. Other areas to record deaths include Travis County, Burnett County, Williamson County, Kendall County, and Tom Green County. Officials say the death toll is certain to rise as many of the affected areas remain on flood watch until Monday evening.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:19.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Oterius, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
You want to win? Then just bet. Bet on the game, no stress, no sweat. And win big in the Wanna Bet Just Bet promotion. Spend $1,500 or more on one Just Bet ticket and complete the entry form at promotions.supremegames.com for your chance to win. Third place gets Beats by Dre. Second place gets an iPhone 15 and AirPods Pro. And first place gets a 65-inch TV and a soundbar. Promotion runs May 16 to July 20, 2025. Grand draw July 25, 2025. Authorized under Section 58. Of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated warm staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best, because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional. 50 years of dreams. 50 years of finger-licking good memories, yeah.
Thank you, Jamaica, for 50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Time of a Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning again, George. Motorists, motoring public, and visitors, and all our transport stakeholders. Morning time again. It's free flowing again. Woodland, Tarrant Drive, Woodland Drive, off Mullines. Yes, Tarrant is off Mullines, and going onto Hadley Park Road, there is a bit of it, especially going up towards Maxfield Avenue, then on Eastwood Park Road, but Half a Tree, quite busy, quite active, coming from South Road Avenue, but going down Half a Tree Road, however, there are gaps. You can make it freely onto, Ruth Penn Road and Chelsea Avenue, Cecilia Avenue also, and coming up Cargill Avenue, it's all good going towards Half a Tree. There are gaps going all the way down to Half a Tree Road, Hadley Park, Oxford Road, however, has some traffic, especially at Oxford and Olop Road and Oxford Northwood Boulevard. But there are gaps again in those areas. And going across the Tamarack Come, no problem. It's flowing, even from Arthur Wayne, which is off Mountain View, and going on to Tamarack. It's really free flowing at this particular point in time. You can expect build-up later on as the morning progresses, but so far, so good. And don't forget, the Mandela always have lots of traffic on that eastbound side coming on towards 6 Miles and then on to Spanish Town Road. You can expect more traffic in those areas, and especially also on Washington Boulevard. Have yourselves a great day, and as usual, at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. George, over to you.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts 2. Up next, Front Page. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. Trying out new technology this morning and it's sounding good. So usually you'll see us in these bulky headsets, and turn out being a bulky headset as well, detracting from our bruty, as the boys say on social media. The morning bruty. Mm-hmm. But we have these new gizmos, I'll call them. These new earpieces. They're not headsets. And they're rather nice. I'm hearing crystal clear.
Very clear. Yeah. It's
Mr.
just something to get used to.
Yeah.
Because these are in the air, they're not over the head, so that's something to get used to.
For you it would be.
Yes, yeah, because that's not what I'm used to using.
Used to these.
But what is nice is that I'm able to turn up or down the headset from in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's attached to my pocket.
Yeah, so
so I quite like it.
Mr. King has done it again, so we're dealing with some new earpieces, and I hear that these are ours. So
are they?
Yeah, man.
Jermaine looks
some here. My ears say I feel with them.
I see. Is that so, Jermaine? Jermaine gives us a puzzled look. But welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's now time for a discussion segment, The Front Page. On the front page this morning, bringing to you excerpts from the Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, addressing the CARICOM meeting taking place now in Montego Bay. The incoming chair of CARICOM is Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, and he's urging CARICOM, or Caribbean states rather, to launch a war on criminal gangs in a similar magnitude as is the war on terror. Dr. Holness was addressing the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM at the Montego Bay Convention Center on Sunday.
There can be no sustained prosperity without security. A July 2024 report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime entitled Caribbean Gangs, Drugs, Firearms and Gang Networks in Jamaica, St. Lucia, Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago points to a worrying combination of risk factors, including surging drug production in South America, the proliferation and competition of transnational and local gangs, and high availability and use of firearms that have contributed to soaring homicide rates. If the situation in Haiti is an indicator, these are not ordinary times and they require urgent action. We must dismantle the influence of gangs in our communities, disrupt their financing, and cut off access to weapons. I am on record as saying that we need to launch a war on gangs of a similar magnitude and nature to the war on terror. Yes, I would invite you to clap for that. Aside from the climate threat, the threat that is most likely to have an existential threat in the near term for many of our states would be the growth of gangs. Many Caribbean states, by virtue of our history and the kind of civilization which we wish to develop, would seem to categorize gangs as a social problem, a problem caused by alienation of youth, poverty, breakdown in social mores and values, and therefore the policy response must be or should be a social response, one that treats crime and violence as a public health crisis. And this is so. There is no question that it is a social problem why 90% of persons involved in crime are males. And speaking for Jamaica, 90% of those who are victims of homicides are males. So yes, there is that strong social component. But I believe our society and the way in which we think about crime and violence needs to evolve to accept and understand the evolved nature of the challenge we face. And the truth is that what we are now facing is the organization of violence. It is the organization of violence for profit. It is not merely street level, dispossessed, socially excluded youngsters. There is a level of intelligence, a level of resources, a level of organization that has been brought to crime, and violence is being used to support a profit motive. And my own view is that policy and jurisprudence needs to evolve to address this matter. As I said, the situation in Haiti is only an example that we should look at very carefully.
We're listening to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, the chair of CARICOM. He was speaking, addressing the 49th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM at the Montego Bay Convention Center yesterday. We're going to take a break and come back with more.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:32.
So where you get?
The new Popeyes blackened chicken sandwich, my girl. The flavor just hits different.
Blackened like it burn up?
Nah, man. Blackened because of the color of the Louisiana herbs and spices. Blackened like the flavor buck. No breading and the seasoning soaked deep in the chicken. But get yours and try it, cause me nah share yours. Get the new Popeyes blackened chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated warm staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best, because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional.
Stay cool and save energy with the perfect ceiling fan for every room at prices you'll love. At Active Home Center, we've got fans to fit every space and every budget. From affordable options to premium designs with energy-efficient DC motors. Whether it's your bedroom, living room, or patio, there's a fan for every corner of your home. Hurry in for deep discounts on select fans while stocks last. Shop fans at Active Home Center in Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center, more savings, more choices.
Calling all businesses. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair is heading to Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay on Saturday, July 26th, and your brand should be there. With families from St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, and St. Elizabeth expected to attend, it's the perfect chance to connect directly with back-to-school shoppers. Contact us at sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com or call 876-630-1210 to book your vendor space today.
Prime Minister has thrown the doors of the country open to his CARICOM colleagues. Picture in the Gleaner this morning of him dancing with the Barbados PM, Mia Mottley, and they are collaborating, Mottley, Holness and their colleagues, on how to make this Caribbean region a safer space, a more prosperous space, and especially with the issues of climate change. We do barely anything to cause the climate problem, but we bear the brunt of the problems caused by climate change. And so in his role as the new CARICOM chairman, it's a revolving door, the CARICOM chairman post, the role of CARICOM chairman, and it's now Andrew Holness's turn. He stressed the need for greater advocacy for climate justice and climate financing.
The presence of delegations from 48 countries today is a powerful statement of global confidence in CARICOM and in our shared agenda. We are meeting at a time of intense international activity. In the months ahead, CARICOM will engage the world through the second CARICOM Africa Summit in Ethiopia and during the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. As small, vulnerable states, the unavoidable reality of the climate crisis stands as a sobering reminder each year, especially during the annual hurricane season. And as we prepare for COP30 in Belém, Brazil, our call is urgent and clear. The promises of the Paris Agreement must be met, both in emissions reductions and access to climate finance at the level and scale required. Our discussions tomorrow will give special attention to COP30 preparations and climate finance, which remain defining issues for our region's survival and prosperity.
You know, for others, the issue of climate change may be an academic discussion between scientists trying to determine whether the data set is accurate or whether historically climate has changed over time and therefore climate changing now is nothing new. An academic discourse. But last year, just around this time, Jamaica was staring down the earliest forming and probably the quickest forming Category 4 hurricane, which devastated a third of our island. So for us, climate change is not an academic discussion. Climate change is real. We live it almost every day. And the impact of this has to be understood from the fiscal level and the need for financing, but certainly because of our size. A weather event in Texas, and our sympathies and condolences goes out to the people of the United States, in particular the people of Texas who were impacted by the recent weather events which resulted in flooding. But the impact of this will have no effect, literally, on the overall fiscal situation of the United States. A similar weather event in any of our economies would have a devastating effect. And therefore, we must continue to strongly advocate for climate justice and climate financing. And you have my assurance that Jamaica will continue to be a strong advocate for climate justice and climate finance.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, the chairman of CARICOM. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister of Barbados and the CARICOM chairman who passed the baton to Dr. Holness, Mia Mottley, says the price of sovereignty is in our ability to control our information and our content.
I have not spoken to you today about the necessary work of the reform of the governance of this community and the funding of this community, because I believe that the heads of government must confront it and not believe that we can continue to wear the garbs of 20 and 30 years ago as we live in a world that is completely different today. And we must find the boldness, I believe our preacher told us today, Bishop Pitkin, when you said to us, let us have the boldness to move thought into action. Because without that, our region will not be ready for the defense of small states. It is my view that in the absence of an international rules-based order, and we are seeing it being threatened day by day, in the absence of an international rules-based order, countries such as ours will find it difficult to survive. And this, my friends, is the first real threat that we have had since becoming independent nations. The notion that others may want to conquer again is not beyond their imagination and not beyond our reality. But equally, the price of sovereignty is no longer simply that which we have started to do in the first 2 or 3 generations since independence. The price of sovereignty now extends to our ability to control our information and to generate our content. We have to be able to own our own satellites and not be the victim of somebody pulling them on us because they do not like the position we took on a war across the world somewhere or someplace. We have to generate our own content because it is only us who know our reality, and we cannot simply be the victims of other people's judgment as to who we are and what we stand for. And if we don't do these things, then we will fail to recognize that the new Armada and the new flotilla are not the ships that came and brought our forefathers here under protest. But in fact, the new Armada and the new flotilla is that which will control our mind. And we know what Marcus Messiah Garvey told us about emancipating our mind from mental slavery. If ever there was a time for us to listen to these entreaties, it is now.
Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados and outgoing chair of CARICOM. So, the meeting is on the way, has drawn a lot of heavy hitters to Montego Bay in St. James. I was down that side on Sunday, and billboards, a lot of it up, a lot of, when important activities are happening, because you see the vehicles with the blue lights driving, running everybody off of the road, and going everywhere early, going everywhere fast. So a lot of heavy hitters down in Montego Bay for an important thing. And you tend to feel CARICOM's presence fleetingly, and there's so much that we try to get done that we haven't gotten done, and there are so many ideas that have been captured in formal action plans over time. There is so much policy, so much strategy that has been discussed, so much tactics as well that are on paper, and yet it boggles the mind that we aren't further along as a regional group than we are at the moment. And it's not for a shortage of ideas, because we've said the right things, we've written down the right things, we've planned to do the right things. But then again, all politics being local, it comes back to the bread and butter things in your country, because Wholeness can't go to any platform in this country and hold up the fact that he's CARICOM chairman to find favor with anybody looking to support one of the two major political support any party in the next general election. It holds no currency whatsoever.
No.
The fact of him being CARICOM chairman in his local politics. So that's a difficulty that many of them face when they go to these forums and discuss these very important things, agree these very sensible plans of action. But the implementation always falls flat, because when a man or a woman goes home, it's back to the daily grind of the issues that assail their people, which do not necessarily equate or accord with what CARICOM's issues are.
Yeah, and each country has to look out for that country's interests. So even though, you might align on certain things when you get back home, it's how your people see things and what you're looking out for your country.
Yeah.
So it comes back down to the interests of your people. But what I'd say, though, George, is if the leaders in the Caribbean could treat with issues in bite sizes. So, okay, for the next 2 years, we're going to hammer out matters dealing with security and climate change only and not take on everything. Because when you take on everything, it's as if you don't have enough time, enough manpower or whatever to get everything done. Take on two big issues and say, listen, we're going to give our all to these two big issues over the next 5 years, 2 years, whatever the case might be.
And it goes back to what we are saying about the difficulties of home politics versus regional politics. That's what they've been doing, because since 2001 I've taken...
Boy, sometimes I don't...
Here's why I say that. Because the single market and economy was something that they divided that up and said, okay, let's do this phase, this aspect over time. Matters concerning trade, of course, which are woven into that. Let's deal with these before we deal with other things. And that's how they've been doing it. Because since 2001, I've taken a keen interest in CARICOM matters. Largely strategic. I mean, I waste my time, because when I was in university, and I used to be a debater for UTEC, a lot of the issues that we'd find at the regional debates, and of course something that you'd have to inform yourself on when you're going to the international, the world championship level, it revolved around a lot of CARICOM issues. So it suited me to inform myself and to immerse myself in CARICOM issues. And so whenever they had these conferences, and they had plenty of them at the UWI, Professor Wint, I can't count the number of speeches I've seen Alvin Wint deliver. All the other CARICOM heavyweights, it didn't miss me on the weekend or in the week. If I had the time, I'd run across from my campus over to the UWI to take in and soak in and to read the things. And that was how they were doing the approach a thing, to say, okay, let's deal with this, let's prioritize this, let's deal with monetary policy here, let's deal with the movement of people here. They always try to isolate the issues, but they just never manage to make everything just congeal and come together. Look at when Mayor Motley declared that free movement will happen.
Oh, yes.
Was March last year?
And timelines were given.
Yeah, and I know.
And
meaning hassle free, everybody just move. Still not happening yet.
And why was that? Because it came right back down to the point where people just never aligned completely on the thing.
Yeah, but he means I say,
exactly.
No, yeah. And then Ralph says, we'll go it alone.
Keep them out of it.
Keith Rowley says, oh, we should just, have a majority rather than consensus. Because, something always gets in the way. Break time. Back with more after this.
Chuck fried chicken always ready. Chuck, original crispy. Burn Chuck, Cajun spicy. Burn Chuck, a barbecue. Burn Chuck, we are going Burn Chuck.
The time brought to you by Burchak Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is
7:48.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated One staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. Everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best, because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Forget ordinary, think Liqui-Moly. Get a 15% discount on all Liqui-Moly oils and additives from April 25th to July 30th at all Burt's Auto Parts locations. Buy 4 or more Liqui-Moly engine oils or 4 transmission oils, you get a free LM40 all-purpose cleaner. But hurry up, the offer runs while stocks last and conditions apply. Forget ordinary, think Liqui-Moly. And remember, it hurts if you don't check Burt's.
50 years of dreams, 50 years of finger-licking good memories, yeah.
Thank you, Jamaica, for 50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning.
Right, I'm finding here now. I'm seeing a statement here. We've been finding statements in the break. What our leaders have been saying about free movement within CARICOM as we look at the things that have not been done. And it's not beating up CARICOM. It's just pointing out the obvious. July 4, 2023, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of CARICOM, the heads of state of the Caribbean community under the chairmanship of Dominica's Roosevelt Skerritt announced that the thing that every Caribbean citizen has wanted since we've had control of our own destiny is free movement in the single market, and that a renewed agreement was signed that by March 30, 2024, the leaders have paved the way for CARICOM to become one of the most integrated regions of the world by allowing citizens to seek work or family reunification opportunities in other CARICOM states And it was the International Organization for Migration who was noting that CARICOM had made this bold step as a 50th anniversary gift to its people, which we're still waiting on. And you can imagine the people who work at the CARICOM Secretariat and who have devoted their lives and careers to CARICOM business over time would be frustrated by what happens after the CARICOM summits are held, the meetings are held, and people go back to the daily grind of the realities in their own countries and territories. Oxygen is cut off from the ideas, and if oxygen is cut off, then the ideas go nowhere.
Yeah, the timelines have been shifting a lot on this issue because, as you said, last year it was said by the end of March, people in the Caribbean would have the ability to move freely across the region. Then this year, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, he appeared on Nationwide this morning and said, yes, man, by the end of June, that there would be this full free movement. But now it's July.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's a question we should ask of the Caribbean leaders who are at the summit in Montego Bay.
Yes, indeed. Well, amid rising energy prices, economic volatility, and climate vulnerability, a new report from RMI lays out a bold, achievable path for Caribbean nations to secure energy independence and resilience, and is powered by the region's most abundant resources, the sun, wind, and geothermal energy. The report, A Caribbean Regional Transition Scenario, presents a practical roadmap for governments, utilities, and communities across the region to transition to renewables in a cost-effective way. For more, I'm being joined by Director of RMI's Islands Energy Program, David Gumbs. Good morning, David. Hello.
Good morning. Happy to be here with you this morning. Good morning, Jamaica.
Thank you for being here. All right. This Caribbean Regional Transition Scenario, for those who are not aware of what the report says, give us an overview, if you may.
Yeah, just quickly, because we can always share the information for viewers and others, to listeners to get to the more intricate details. But this report did a comprehensive analysis of the transition in the Caribbean. It looked at 4 countries, and specifically for the case studies, Jamaica, Dominica, Grenada, and Barbados. Each of them have very unique pathways that they've been pursuing their energy transition process. And we've looked at those, both commending the great work and efforts that's been put in. Many of these are pioneers in the region in terms of the energy transition. And in many cases, there have been lessons learned. So we basically took a look at those lessons and said, okay, let's develop a roadmap for any Caribbean country that wants to transition by 2035. What would it take? What are the barriers? What are the competitive aspects that need to be looked at? We looked at job creation, capacity development, all of the factors that would impact in that transition effort. And we said, here's what we think is a real roadmap for any country that wants to pursue that. Part of that being that we looked at a very diverse set of countries for the case study. Each of them have a very unique pathway that we analyzed.
So the roadmap that you speak of, David, is the roadmap centered around individual countries getting there and in so doing end up harmonizing their approach, or is it the roadmap predicated on a group of countries or the CARICOM region going going along the path together?
Yeah, I see. There is so many complexities or uniqueness to each country's in individual situation, both economically, but also just the characteristics of the energy transition. Some countries have geothermal, some countries don't. Some countries have better wind profile, some countries don't. But what we have done is taken a look at not only what the unique resources of the region are and accounted for that, but looked at the policies that can be established to enhance and accelerate the transition. And also, from a technical standpoint, we looked at, what energy sources how competitive each energy source is, and then viable energy sources that is, and also what are the economic implications of that. So each country has the option to not only pursue its own pathway, but the countries that have similarities have the opportunity to aggregate projects. They have the opportunity to work with others to reduce the overall cost of the transition and share the burden. So the report is not a one-size-fits-all, because each country, we realize, is unique in their characteristics for the energy transition, but there's ample opportunity for them to collaborate, work together, combine their capacity and resources to make this a less difficult and less expensive pathway.
Mm-hmm. And by 2035, let's look down the road to 2035. What would a regional energy mix look like in terms of strong sources of renewable energy that is driving industries and local economies in this part of the world?
Yeah. And I think this is an opportunity for us to probably zoom in a little bit to say the Jamaican context and keep it real for the folks listening today. In the Jamaican context, we're not talking about large-scale geothermal. We'll be talking mostly about solar and wind. There are a number of other technologies that are either on the horizon or in development, but we're talking about the real practical, commercially viable, economically viable ones that we can do today. And if we talk about solar and wind, Jamaica is already a pioneer in that regard with the Wigton wind farm. That alone is a pioneering step, but given the scale of Jamaica's energy needs, it's just a small step in the right direction. We need to move at scale. So there needs to be more wind, and there needs to be more solar. And when you look at the overall mix, you can have complementary. Wind complements solar complements wind, because one is 24 hours a day, wind is, and solar is, you can only get generation for roughly, on a high side, maybe 8 hours a day, 5 hours a day on average for the large scale solar capacity. But then you complement that with battery storage, and battery storage comes to the table in a couple of ways. One is for storage to basically redistribute that energy generated during the day, redistribute that energy at night, and also to basically balance the loads on the grid. So renewable energy is intermittent. It's not a continuous source of energy 24 hours a day. So battery allows you to basically smooth the distribution of that energy, collect it during the day, redistribute it at night, balance the grid during the day when solar in particular is intermittent. So there's a varied amount of technology that are easily accessible. Better yet, the cost has declined significantly over the past 10 years, more so over the past 5 years. And in the last 2 years, we saw another significant decline in battery storage in particular, which makes this so accessible today. The technology is smart, it is technically sound, it is proven, and it can be done. And it can be done rather economically or cheaply, I should say.
Is there an appetite for the ideas contained in this report around the Caribbean in the halls of government? Are people looking seriously at these things, or are they just carrying on with the status quo for now?
Yeah, and that's part of why we wanted to have this discussion. There is a strong appetite, but what we find is that because it's somewhat complex, for me, it's straightforward. I do this all day, every day. I have this type of conversation with governments and utilities and developers all day, every day. So I understand it. I see where the potential barriers are, and I see where the great opportunities exist. So sometimes I get a little impatient and frustrated, and that's what happens with the slow pace of the transition. But when you have, politicians who are not engaged in this every day, or you have, but just as a community in the Caribbean, it's still a newer transition for us. And there are a couple of barriers that always come to play. One is the economics. Any transition to a new sector, to a new industry, we can talk about AI, we can talk about any transition efforts that happen over the course of time, needs a certain amount of capital to come to play, needs the investment to happen to make that transition happen. The status quo is always easy because we've already made the investments. We've already adjusted our budgets. But now we need to make new investments in new technologies that will drive down costs tomorrow, immediately, the day these things are commissioned. But that transition, that small gap, is always where we get the sort of the pushback and the concerns. And I think that's why we need to make this conversation a daily, weekly, monthly conversation that we can carry on, because it can be done. The technical barriers have been proven, they've been eliminated, but it just comes down right now to the will to push through.
David, before we let you go, I want you to respond to this criticism. Someone says the best solar system operates only 36% of the time. Storage is expensive and not responsive to demand.
Yeah. So the first part of that statement is correct. Solar is available when the sun is shining. We have ample sun during the day, and you can install ample solar during the day to supply you for a full 24 hours. Battery storage is no longer expensive. That was 10 years ago. Today, battery storage costs have gone down about, I'd say, 90% over the past 10 years. We're talking about a dramatic decline in cost, and it's easily accessible for most of us. We can go online, on Amazon, on the internet, and buy our own immediate battery storage and install it in our households. But that's not the type of transition we want. We want a well-planned, well-coordinated transition with the right types of investments so that we don't disrupt the grid and create more challenges and more problems. So there is a very intentional approach that has to be taken, and that's what this report lays out. It put all of the regulatory considerations to be made, the stakeholder engagement, like these type of conversations that needs to happen so that people can be informed and understand where we are today in terms of the transition and the possibilities. There's a tremendous amount of potential that we can tap into. It just takes that will, and it takes the understanding and a little bit of information sharing so that we can all buy into this and make it happen.
And finally, David, where can persons find the report?
Yes, so you can find the report at rmi.org. If you do a Google search for a Caribbean transition scenario, RMI, that's RMI, Caribbean transition scenario, you will find it. It's widely available on Google. You go ahead, download it from our site, and we're happy to share. We also have a couple of op-eds that we're circulating in the region, so you'll see some references to those also.
David
We're always
Gumbs.
happy to share the link here.
All right. David Gumbs, Director of RMI's Islands Energy Program, giving us some insights into that report, a new blueprint for Caribbean energy independence, comprehensive new green transition report. David, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day, Jamaica.
You too. Going to take a break and come back with more on NTM.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales. For a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:06.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica This Morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Monday morning, all 5 persons who died in Sunday morning's motor vehicle crash on the Salt March Road in Trelawney were taxi operators. The disclosure was made by Edgerton Newman, president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODS.
The public transport sector has been plunged into darkness this morning. Sadness, grief, as we lost 5 of our prominent taxi operators, 4 male, 1 female, in a tragic accident in Trelawney this morning. We're en route from Spanish Town to Hanover for a function, and they made their demise in Trelawney. It is a sad moment. These guys were outstanding, outspoken members of the transport sector based in Spanish Town. They were also part of the what we call People's Choice Transportation Group, a very active transport group there out there in Spanish Town and Kingston.
The operators were headed to a party in Western Hanover when tragedy struck. The vehicle reportedly flipped several times before slamming into a concrete utility pole. Newman described the scene.
At that time of the morning, the road, that piece of road between Runaway Bay and Trelawney, into St. James, is a slippery piece of road, and the Jew was on the road at that hour of the morning. They don't know the road that well, and they were taking the curve like they are not straight, and that place is a place prone to accidents, and they take that curve and could not make it, swung to the right into some trees, and then into a utility pole, a concrete utility pole.
Edgerton Newman, president of TODS. Vice chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, says that the number of road fatalities since the start of the year stands at 194. That's 4% below the number for the corresponding period in 2024. Meanwhile, head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner Dr. Gary McKenzie, is calling on motorists to reduce their speed. The public passenger minivan that was involved in the accident slammed into a concrete pole.
Based on all that we have gathered, one of the things is that the number one cause for many of our crashes is speeding. And the fact of the matter is that drivers should know by now that it is very dangerous to drive at high speeds. At that time of the morning, there is no need to be rushing. And so one of the things I believe that we have to recognize is that if we are not able to conform with these rules, then there is going to be a very big problem, which it has already occurred. And so we have reached that stage where there should be no discretion or chances for persons who are driving at excessive speeds on our roads.
Assistant Commissioner Dr. Gary McKenzie, head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. Finally, in across Jamaica this Monday morning, School Street in Black River, St. Elizabeth, has been renamed as C.D. Wright Road. The move on July 4 is in honor of Charles D. Wright, the first member of Parliament for the Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency. Mr. Wright played a pivotal role in Jamaica's early political journey, including the movement toward independence. As a pastor, he made significant contributions to the establishment of schools, housing schemes, and improved infrastructure across the Breadbasket Parish. The ceremony was led by Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie. Minister McKenzie says, as a further honor, he will request that the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation pass a resolution to redesignate C.D. Wright Road as C.D. Wright Boulevard. The event on Friday also marked the completion of a $10 million road rehabilitation project. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Monday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Have you ever been to a store and felt right at home? The minute you entered, you knew that's where you were meant to be. Picture it. The dedicated one staff greet you with a smile, show exceptional professionalism, and still make you feel like family. everything is catered to you. You know you're getting the best because to them, you're the best. That's the New Walters Pharmacy, 18 High Street, Black River. Call 965-2264 or 476-3939. The New Walters Pharmacy.
Pharmacy, everything exceptional. And vibes, and through it all there's a glow inside. Let's keep our shine alive.
From the market to the factory floors, from the hillside green to golden shores,
we're reaching heights, our energy that lights the sky.
JPS, powering what matters.
50 years of dreams, 50 years of finger-licking good memories, yeah.
Thank you, Jamaica, for 50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Why rush around town for back-to-school shopping? Nationwide 90 FM is making it easy at our back-to-school fair. Come get your child measured for uniforms, check their shoe size, and purchase essentials right there on the spot. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Trelawney, St. Elizabeth. We've got everything in one place just for you. That's Saturday, July 26, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Harmony Beach Park, Montego Bay. The Nationwide 90 FM Back to School Fair.
Welcome to Inside Customs, brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self.
Welcome again to Inside Customs here on Nationwide 90 FM, a product of NNN and the Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, highlighting the work of the Customs Agency and its partners and collaborators as they go about the very important business of attracting revenue for the country. This episode sees me speaking with Kelly Dawn Hamilton. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, and she is here live on Living Color. Hello, Kelly.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good.
We met in was it Westmoreland?
We met in Westmoreland, we met at Expo, we met at so many different places.
There you go. We've been talking. Is the good
yes.
thing. All right. So, Kelly, this morning we're going to talk about the work of the authority you lead, the very important work that it does, and of course the facilitating environment that it does its work in. But in case some people came in late and don't know when the authority was founded, when it started operating and what it does, introduce them to the authority you lead.
The Special Economic Zone Authority was established in 2016 with the passage of the Special Economic Zone Act. But let's break it down practically. Jamaica had free zones from about the 1970s, and this regime is an upgrade to that because of what was happening with our international obligations with the OECD and the WTO. We had to move to a regime that was more modern, that had more structure and strictures, and that is how we came to having the Special Economic Zone Authority. And the act was passed in 2016. And really, the SEZ regime is a key component of Jamaica's national economic growth strategy. And what it does is that it provides a structured, incentive-driven environment for local and international businesses to operate. We provide regulatory support and trade facilitation. And so we oversee that space. So we're one authority that we do both regulating and, of course, facilitating. So currently we have 114 companies registered as special economic zones, and they are located across over approximately 202 locations across the island. And we have companies represented in the areas of agro-processing, manufacturing, business process outsourcing, or the global digital services sector. And we're definitely seeing an uptick in logistics and the demand for warehouse spaces in the country. As you know, our geographic position suits us perfectly as the entry point into South America, North America. I mean, from the days of the pirates, we have been that ideal location, and nothing has changed based on our geography. And so we continue to take advantage of the opportunity that presents.
Yes, take advantage, exploit, in the good sense in this regard. So here's the thing then. For persons or for entities that invest in the special economic zone regime, what opportunities abound for them? And I say abound because I know that we've been told that there are plenty of opportunities. So I'm playing with the theme and going along with the idea that investors in the special economic zone regime open up a portal to many, many opportunities. Give me some of those.
So the special economic zone regime provides incentives, and we do fiscal and non-fiscal. Now, the fiscal incentives, we have three headline incentives. The first is that companies in the SEZ pay a lower corporate income tax rate. So in the SEZ, you're paying 50% of what you would pay in the domestic economy. In the SEZ, your corporate income tax rate is as low as 7.75%. The headline rate that you will pay is 12.5%. And usually people ask, how do I get it to move down? And that is a function of the application of your promotional tax credit. So in layman's terms, what that means is if you're filing your employee taxes on time, if you're doing research and development, you can apply those credits towards your tax liability, and that reduces the cost that you'll have to pay. And that is how you move even further down from that 50% of what you pay in the regular economy. So from that 12.5% down to 7.75. Additionally, companies operating in the SEZ don't pay duties on items that they import for use in their zones. And companies don't pay GCT on goods and services that they purchase for use in their zones. Of course, we also have capital allowance, depreciation, and other benefits that clients have access to under the SEZ. But these are our headline incentives. Additionally and importantly, for a developer, so you have different types of special economic zones classification.
Yes.
So you have the developer, single entity developer, and those are they have the same type of incentives and structure, and you have the occupant. So the developer is a landholder. The developer is a person or the company that has land that says, I'm going to create purpose-built space for you to come in and occupy and operate your factory or whatever facility you have. For the developer, again, they don't pay duty, they don't pay GCT, but their corporate income tax on their rental income is 0%. So in effect, they're paying no corporate income tax because the only thing a developer is doing is renting space. So that is a major incentive for companies and to create purpose-built space. I don't know if you remember a time when we didn't necessarily have specific BPO built space when we just started that industry.
Not so long ago, you know.
Not so long ago at all, exactly. And now we have quite a few spaces purpose-built. People took advantage of the opportunity, and that is the type of opportunity that we're bringing into spaces such as manufacturing, agro-processing. Same principle. We need more warehouse space. SEZ is a perfect opportunity for companies to build out, create that opportunity for other entities to come in and operate.
So I'm hearing you talk, and I'm wondering to myself, okay, well, clearly it's not a place for any and every business, because especially those businesses that you can find one in every community, especially the ones that are turning residential communities into other kind of spaces, other kind of descriptions. There must be a certain type, if not a certain type, certain types of businesses that an SEZ would play host to. What are some of those?
So SEZ companies, first you have to be a company limited by shares and incorporated here in Jamaica through the company's office. In terms of the sectors of opportunity, we have what we call a negative list. So companies that operate or sectors that we don't allow to get SEZ benefits include tourism, mining, bauxite, utilities, real estate companies, and we're talking about companies now that sell that have agents that do real estate selling. And let me stick a pin in that because I want to come back to that one, right? Now, companies that operate in these spaces, people ask why can't they benefit from SEZ? Because they have other incentives, right? So companies who are also doing retail can benefit from SEZ as well. everything else can.
Yes.
So that is a good thing about SEZ. You know, we're very clear in terms of the sectors of operation. Now, in terms of the eligibility requirements for a developer coming in, you have to have issued and paid up share capital of $1.5 million US. Company also has to, as I said, be incorporated. We go through a due diligence process. So we engage with our stakeholders across the government that undertakes this kind of due diligence. As you imagine, we are issuing an incentive.
Yes.
And, you know, a customs agency, for example, and tax admin are two of our very, very key partners.
Yes.
Custom is critical to what the Special Economic Zone Authority does. So in terms of eligibility for occupants now, and the occupants are the companies that would sit in the spaces developed by our developer. The occupant has to have issued and paid up share capital of $25,000 in the first year and indicate capital expenditure of $50,000 within the first year as well, and this is US dollars.
And so, as we come to, I'm going to have to invite you back next week, Kelly, to finish this, because we've only scratched the surface, and we will do justice by our listeners to give them more. The SEZ space, you know how developing countries are. Okay, so people hear about the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority and the Special Economic Zone and think that, okay, so what I need to do to get in is I need to lobby the minister in charge or lobby the government directly, and I get in because that's the way to matriculate to the SEZ. Is this correct, or?
Not at all.
Yes.
I mean, the process is you come through the authority, you apply, we take you through the process. It's very clear in terms of who we can allow in and who we can't. Where we like to sit with our clients is where we're working through the structure to ensure that it meets the requirement of SEZ. As we know, no two business operates the same.
Yes.
And this is why we say to our clients, come to us early. Come to us so we can have a conversation that allows us to understand what it is you're trying to accomplish, how you're trying to accomplish it, and we can guide. Customs is one of our key partners that starts at the beginning of the process with us and our clients for that very reason. We want to be in a position where we don't send people down a rabbit hole, but we help and handhold and facilitate. I said earlier, we regulate and we facilitate, and this is a part of the facilitation that we do.
Excellent. Kelly Dunn Hamilton is the CEO of the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. And fret not, she'll be back next week. This has been Inside Customs.
That was Inside Customs, brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:24.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The Temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group. Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
50 years of dreams. 50 years of finger-licking good memories, yeah.
Thank you, Jamaica, for 50 years of finger-licking good memories. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
8:26 on the clock, waiting now to make a connection with two winners from the MIIC MSME Business Roadshow. MIIC, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, the Business Ministry, and MSME, of course, micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. You know that the MIIC has been on an island-wide roadshow, bringing services to business people, telling them about the various portals under the MIIC's huge umbrella that exists to help them to right-size their business, to explore and profit from the export market, and just to get themselves in order to become a going concern. You know that the rate of businesses forming and closing very, very high, not just here but everywhere around the world. It's the nature of businesses. It's one of the first things you learn as a marketing student. They tell you that, yeah, it's in the nature of things for businesses to close, to open and close soon after. It's the reality of life. And so to help these business owners to sustain themselves, to be a going concern, to be operational for many, many years into the future, the MIIC has been on the road, showcasing its vast array of services. So the MSME Business Roadshow provides an opportunity for micro and small businesses to get exposure and pitch to win a cash grant of $400,000 for small business owners, and those who are even smaller, the micro business owners, $200,000 the prize for them if they win the pitch. Participants were allotted 5 minutes to pitch their ideas to a panel of judges and a live audience for a chance to win the prizes in the various categories. There are 10 winners, 5 from each category. So 5 small business winners and 5 micro business winners. We'll be interviewing all 10 winners over time. Last Friday we spoke to 2 of them, and this morning we're talking to another 2, the owner of Tourist Pastries Limited, Alvin Fowler, and the CEO of SJA Rapid Growth Essentials, Stephanie Coates. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I am fine. This is Stephanie.
Good morning. Yes.
Yeah, man. Morning, Alvin.
Hi, good morning.
All right, great. All right, so let me start with you, Stephanie. What category did you win in?
The micro.
All right, micro. And you're the CEO of SJA Rapid Growth Essentials. Tell us about your firm, your company.
So SJA Rapid Growth Essential is a natural hair oil brand that addresses slow hair growth, dandruff, itchy scalp, and overall poor hair health. Our product is formulated using carefully selected natural ingredients like castor oil, rosemary, cloves, and guava leaves, all known for their restorative and growth-stimulating properties. We also provide a chemical-free solution for individuals who want to nourish their scalp and promote healthy, thriving hair.
How long have you been in business, Stephanie?
November is going to be 2 years.
Wow, and how have things been since that time, since you started?
It has been rough, but I pushed through and I'm now a winner. So.
One of many victories I'm hoping you'll be able to chalk up. So the products that you manufacture under SJA Rapid Growth Essentials, is that your trading name or you put another name on the products?
No, it's the trading name.
So if I go to, have you managed to find a space on the big supermarket shelves or even the medium-sized ones across the island?
Well, we are currently working towards that. We work with SRC, got approved. Currently waiting on Bureau Standard for the label and stuff. So once that is sorted out, then we will be on the shelf.
Yes, and when you say we, I assume your team is small. How many are you working with the company?
Me, myself, and the Lord.
You yourself and the Lord. 3 the hard way, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Where are you located?
Hanover.
You're in Hanover. But of course, when I say where you're located, the business is universal because you're online. What? Well, I'll come back to you for your social media and so forth afterwards. Okay. But Alvin, morning again.
Morning.
All right. So Tourist Pastries Limited. Tell me about Tourist Pastries Limited.
Well, Tourist Pastries is a small business located in Savannah, 19 Rose Street, and we offer comfort food like or different pastries like cakes, muffin, ice cream. We do customized cakes, any kind of cake you want that is customized. We do events, wedding cakes. We also have big or small packages for different events that you want to be a part of, you can always contact us for that.
So if I want pastries catered for an event I'm having, you're the man to call.
Yeah, man, I'm the man to call. Tourist Space is the place to call.
Yes. How many are you on the team?
Well, it's 4 of us.
Yes, and how long you started?
Well, we started in 2013.
And how have 2013? So you've been around for a while. How have things been over time?
Well, you know, for any business owner, I can tell it's always been a challenge. And, you know, this is a good move by the government. So we need more of this kind of opportunity for business owners because, you know, it's always challenging for small business owners like us.
Yes. How difficult specifically has it been, Alvin, to get capital to invest in the business and to grow it?
I can tell you that is the biggest problem any business owner would face right now is raising capital. So if you're not raising it through private equity or going to the bank, you know, you have to find a way to work with what you have, and that is where it becomes challenging because you sometimes stuck in a cycle where when you need to grow most, you can't get the capital. And you know, these big companies now that are doing well, they're highly subsidized by their government, especially with the companies like in China. These big corporations, they're subsidized. So the government needs to do more as it relates to trying to assist these small business because we are really the driving force behind the economy.
Yeah.
And we need the help.
The Minister of Industries is an ever-present a person at the road shows. If you could grab him, pull him aside for a couple of minutes, what would you say to him that you would want him to do specifically to make capital easily available to persons like yourself and Stephanie?
What I would say first thing is that, one, this is a good move that they're doing now, right? But at the same time, it needs way more than that. So I know they have a thing with DBJ where you can go to institution and get a DBJ loan, but it's still challenging because there's a lot of requirements and stuff that you have to meet to gain access. So they need to make the access more easily accessible for smaller businesses, which are the driving force behind the economy. Because it's very, very challenging to meet all the demands. So remember, if you're a small business owner, you know, you're the accountant, you're the marketing person, you're probably the cashier, you're the person on the back producing. As she said, it's herself and God alone. She can probably afford to hire somebody, because if you hire somebody $16,000 a week and then that $60,000 a month or $64,000 a month to hire somebody, and that's a lot of cash flow for these micro small businesses, say, for you to hire so much persons. It's very challenging because you have to deal with all the other bills, suppliers, electricity. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah. So your main message to Minister Hill would be to make it easier for you to get capital, especially through the DBJ.
Yeah, man. Find a way to actually help us as business owner. It can set up in a way that, you know, you can monitor it and you can give the right business that need it. You know, come check them, see them for yourself. You know, to see, because I think there are other mediums that they make money available, but a lot of it comes with a lot of collateral that many small businesses don't have those collaterals to get access to those funding.
Yes. If you had the right kind of capital, Alvin, how much bigger would Tourist Pastries be in the next 5 years?
Way bigger right now. I think I could have a location in all 14 parishes.
Wow.
If I got the capital, because we know what to do. We have developed our models, we have developed our systems, but capital is the main problem right now. Any business at all that wants to grow, capital is the thing. I see Mr. Michael Leachin got up out of his office. We always see him in helicopter pass. Him go and touch every base in Jamaica, every street corner he was on there. And I see that as just raising capital. That's what he was doing.
Yes.
Raising capital.
Yes. Stephanie, if you could pay, say for instance, if you could pay 20% less for light bill than you do now for the next year or 18 months, how do you think that would help your business?
That would help my business drastically, because then I would have that fund to put elsewhere and grow my business. And as Tori says, to be honest, the process to get loans and all of that for small businesses, it's ridiculous. And I believe that small businesses are the backbone of our economy. But many of us face challenges accessing the capital needed to grow and create jobs. I would say to Minister Hill to make funding more accessible through low interest loans, grants, and simplified application process so we can thrive, innovate, and contribute more to national development.
Hear you on that. Alvin, the energy question to you. If your light bill was 20% less for the next year and a half, what would that do for you?
Whole heap of money, that, sir. Whole heap of money. You know, I used to suffer hard. We had to go to solar because by using JPS alone, it's very, very challenging. Very, very challenging. That was a major part of the income, especially in the early years of our business. Mm-hmm. That money alone, it was so huge, you know, unbelievable. I wouldn't imagine paying those bills before going into business. So that's a very big problem there for a lot of companies.
Yeah, and although the prospect...
And the government has made it, even for individuals now through NHT, but the requirement still is a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot still to get there just to qualify for it.
Yes, and I know it's 2 years away, the new energy license, whoever will hold that, but just quickly, Alvin, the move to get a better deal so that we can pay less for energy, your view on it?
Everybody would welcome that, sir. Everybody, especially business owners. If you know, everybody has in some solar now because it's very challenging when it comes to that because the light bills are high and, you know, when they run certain business, they consider you to use more electricity. Even though you're not doing it, they consider you at a different rate. So
yes.
It's very challenging for business owners.
Yes, and Stefan,
every business owner.
And Stephanie, the same point to you. 2 years before we get a new energy license, but the prospects of not paying as much as you do now for electricity.
It would be fantastic, to be honest. It would be fantastic because electricity takes a lot out of your business, and not to mention other resources that you have to supply. And while I'm operating by myself, that is one of the factors as to why I cannot employ somebody because my profit would just go out in bills and paying somebody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hear you on that.
One of the things.
Yes, Alvin, go ahead.
I say, you know, many small businesses right now is operating in a deficit. You might not see it because business owners are not the real people who come out and cry.
Yes.
They're not going to come and cry. But the reality is if the government should touch base literally or come and talk to these people, then you'll see it. Because my wife was having a discussion with one of her friends yesterday, and one of our friends is actually having a pay cut. Right? So a lot of companies have to be cutting pay now, especially with the increase in terms of the minimum wage. Some people are saying, boy, it's a little bit of money. It's a little bit of money in their eyes. But at the same time, for you to come up with that amount of money for 4 or 5 persons, it's a lot of money for a small business. Because I know this young lady would love to have somebody else to work with her.
Yes.
But if she take on that responsibility, that money is a lot of money when you add it up each week.
Yes, yes. Yes, I hear you. I'm way out of time, but I wanted to give you time to air your stories. So before we go, Stephanie, where can people find you on social media to look at your products?
So you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at SJA Rapid Growth Essential. You can also view the testimonials, DM me or WhatsApp me at 428-4522 to place your order.
Give me the number again, a little bit slower.
Okay, 428-4522, area code 876.
428-4522. 876. All right, Stephanie. Alvin, where can we find the tourist pages online?
All socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook is Tourist Pastry, TORISPASTRY at all socials. So our telephone number is 546-3896, 546-3896. You can go on WhatsApp that number also. Feel free to visit us. We're open every day except on a Saturday, Monday to Friday, 9:30 till 6 p.m. We're open. You can come in and have an ice cream, a slice of cake. We do special orders also. So if a person wants some cakes to sell at their business place, we cater for that also. So feel free to come by us.
Right. You never told me where your office is.
19 Rose Street. We have a location, 19 Rose Street, Savalabar.
19 Rose Street.
Open on Sundays to also from 12 until 9 p.m. So family time, tourist time.
Excellent.
Family time, tourist time.
Family time, tourist time.
Some ice cream, have a good time. We have a good environment, everything.
All right then. Thank you very much, Alvin Fowler, owner of Tourist Pastries Limited and the CEO of SJA Rapid Growth Essentials, Stephanie Coates. Thank you this morning. All the best to you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Good. Tori won the micro business pitch under the MIIC's MSME Business Roadshow. She was successful. She got a $200,000 grant. And Alvin, he won the, Stephanie for the micro businesses, Alvin for the small businesses. He won $400,000 for his winning pitch.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:42.
Attention registered voters! Remember to collect your renewed voter ID card before the upcoming general election. If you registered to vote in 2016 or after and did not get your new ID card, it may have been automatically renewed. Simply visit your EOJ constituency office to collect your voter ID card. Contact the Electoral Office of Jamaica at 888-991-VOTE or 922-0425-9 for more information.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Corian Solid Surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 276-6448.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King. Stretch your dollar at Burger King with a new Double King Combo. 1 original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Jr. with cheese. Plus a small fries and drink for only $1,300.
Started out as friendship has grown stronger. I only wish
Turner ears, mystical vibrations. So, oh George, Turner ears. Actually, mystical. Actually, I talk. Let me get one quick one.
The thing is, with this gadget, I can just turn it right now.
You can turn it down. All right, cool. Watch it chop down. I want to send happy birthday greetings to my friend of horse racing. A man, we have enough name, Mas Alan, Sir Rocky. Anyway, the same Mas Alan, the same Sir Rocky, is celebrating his 96th birthday today. 96 not out. Man, I see the ball big like a breadfruit. Him still a bat. Not like these West Indies batsmen, Mas Alan a real batsman. So Mas Alan, July 7th, your birthday today, sir. Greetings are coming to you from the whole family, including your daughter, Terry. Yeah, Terry sent a greeting here from yesterday early, Mas Alan, to make sure somebody remember. So I have to give you your props, alright, sir? So Mas Alan / Sir Rocky, same gentleman. Happy birthday to you, sir, as you celebrate 96.
Happy birthday greetings going out to a VIB. Very important birthday here. Michael Blake, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Coming from all of your family and your friends. Happy birthday. Wishing for you a great day. And this one says, congratulations to Abigail Grindley, who graduated yesterday from Immaculate Conception High. Your graduation is a proud moment for our community. We've watched you grow and wishing you the best on your next adventure. Much love and blessings from the Roehampton Estates community. So congratulations going out to you, Abigail Grindley. And this morning, celebrating her birthday is Chrissy Richardson Campbell there at JSIF. Chrissy, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Barrington Smith and Orrington Smith, his second son. Happy birthday, Barrington and Orrington, celebrating their birthdays today. And greetings from Bahrain Smith, who is the older son and brother, and Arita Smith, wife and mom. So happy birthday to Barrington and Orrington, coming from mom and wife Arita Smith and Bahrain Smith, older son and brother. Over on Facebook, happy birthday greetings going out to Denisha Shaw, Azel Naturals. Happy birthday, Malika Mason, Nikia Millwood, Nikki Brown Campbell, Terrence McPherson. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday also going out to Maxine Stewart, Trudian Dollars, Yardy Mills, Casey Janae, Paulette Cunningham Campbell. Happy birthday greetings to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Big up yourself, Paulette, on your special day. Happy birthday to you, VIB. Very important birthday here. Also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to President of the Senate and leading attorney at law, the Honorable Tom Tavares Finson, OJCDKCJP. Greetings are coming from your friends, family, and colleagues. They say big up and keep on being the distinguished and outstanding Jamaican ambassador that you are. Love and love alone going out to the president. So happy birthday to you. And this one, 5th birthday to Ariel Rose. Happy birthday to you, Ariel, coming from mommy, daddy, and Annabelle. They're saying to you, we love her world without end and praying her day is as beautiful as she is. Happy birthday, Ariel.
Arlene Rose says, please send happy birthday blessings to my friend Diane Wallace from Jointwood in St. Elizabeth, who lives in the US. So Diane Wallace from Jointwood in St. Elizabeth, you live in the US now. Your friend Arlene Rose says happy birthday greetings to you. You said something earlier about the name you mentioned. You said the birthday greeting for, was it Barrington Smith?
Barrington Smith. Mm-hmm.
You did that?
Mm-hmm.
So Barrington Smith is the first race run at Caymanas Park was, because the racing used to be at various tracks, Little Ascot in Old Harbour, Knutsford Park, of course, in New Kingston. No, that was a racetrack, Knutsford Park. Mm-hmm. So the first race run at Caymanas Park when they left there was August 22, 1959. And the first winner at Caymanas Park was a horse called Roman Road, ridden by Barrington Smith. Yeah. I don't want to see Barrington Smith though. What do I know? What do I know?
Well,
maybe. I know. I doubt it though, but yeah. So Barrington Smith, the first jockey to win a race at the new Caymanas Park, a horse called Roman Road. There's a nice mural on the wall at the track to remind you of that historical fact.
Good morning to you, Barrington Smith.
Yeah? Big birthday, yeah?
And another big birthday this morning. It's the birthday of our very own Glenn Dixon. Glenn.
Mr. Glenn.
It's your birthday.
Morning, Glenn.
Morning to you, Glenn. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday to your brother.
Happy birthday to you from your NNN family. Wishing for you a wonderful day, and the greetings coming from this one, your work wife and sweetheart.
So hold on now, King. Hold on, King.
It's you, Glenn.
King hates this, you know. But I'm going to have to do it to him this morning. Because King is a man of process. He's a man of focus. So if King play one genre, we can't break the genre. But King, when I say to him, I'm going to agree with me. Even though him hate it. So King, here's me now, my friend. Today is, obviously, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. It's the 7th month, right?
Yes.
So King, today July 7. You have to play the tune, King. King, you have to, no man. King, you have to play the culture. July 7, King. What the 2 7s do? Come now, King, man. He won't play it.
Okay.
He won't play it without frowning because I realize he have to play it. Play it, King.
Which song is that?
Yeah, we'll hear it. You have to play it, man. You can't.
July 7. Find it?
July 7 can't pass it to play that tune. That's all.
Okay. Gene Sellers is sending happy birthday to grandson.
But turn on my music. July 7th I play this. You understand?
7th.
My good prophet Marcus Garvey prophesy say.
Carleen Smith, so me sound like Gully Bop and Ninja Man. Carleen, you have to go down this morning. Anyway.
When I can see with my own eyes, it's only a housing scheme that divides.
Makes sense. Jean Sellers sending happy birthday to her grandson, Gina Sellers. More life, more love from all of your family and friends in Ballards Valley, St. Elizabeth. So happy birthday greetings going out to you, Gino, from your grandma, Jean Sellers. Who else is on the B-Day list? Anyone else in the chat
Phillips
celebrating
says,
a birthday?
George and Tona, Saturday was my birthday. So, belated birthday greetings to you, E. Phillips. Hope you enjoyed Saturday and you're still celebrating, yeah? Yeah, man.
Any more birthdays? I see Erica Smith is sending happy birthday greetings to you as well. Glenn saying full joy your day. So happy birthday to you again, our very own Glenn celebrating his big one today. T-Mac saying, hey George, Friday was my birthday. This is the one you said just now?
No, E. Phillips was Saturday.
So T-Mac, belated happy birthday to you. Hope you had a good one. And T-Mac is saying, on Sunday was my daughter Gleneve's birthday. So belated birthday greetings to you as well, Gleneve. Hope you had a good one. And we did get Arlene Rose's birthdays in. All right, great. So that seems to be all the birthdays. Cheryl Wallace saying the birthday for Barrington. That's Barrington from Holland in St. Elizabeth. Cheryl is saying, okay.
Superintendent is saying Sunday was his birthday. So, Superintendent, belated happy birthday greetings to you, my friend. All the best to you. And Carleen Phillips says, please send happy belated birthday greetings to Evan Phillips in Canada. So, Evan Phillips, belated birthday greetings to you. All right. Carleen says happy birthday to Cheryl's grandson celebrates her birthday, and Carleen is advancing happy birthday greetings.
A very distinguished Casey said you were messaged to say this particular thing. Good morning. Some people born for journalism and not for sing. stick to.
You know, that would have stung.
Did you check your DMs?
No, I didn't check it. But I would have stung, Tana, if I haven't said many times on this platform that the one thing God no bless me with, you know. You understand? It make me can't sing. Well, that's a fact. I can't sing. That's not true. I can't sing. But, hey, you see, I could have sing. Tell you already, you know, man.
Oh, my goodness.
You couldn't hold me.
Good morning to you, Casey. But those are all the birthdays. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King. Stretch your dollar at Burger King with a new Double King combo. 1 original chicken sandwich plus a Whopper Junior with cheese. Plus a small fries and drink for only $1,300.
As we go, Cheryl Hamilton sending happy birthday to her grandson Tajay in Canada. He turns one today. All right. Happy birthday to you, Tajay, from your grandma, who is saying love you so much. Happy birthday to you, Tajay. And Carlene Phillips sending belated happy birthday greetings to Evan Phillips in Canada as well. Hey, Evan, it was your birthday. Belated happy birthday to you. Coming from Carlene Phillips. And I see lots of our folks sending belated happy birthday greetings to Margot Weber. Margot's birthday was what, on Saturday?
I think it was Saturday.
Right.
But we shell it down fair from Friday already.
Right,
Not left into the greetings. We shell it down.
So I'm saying my piece as well belatedly. So belated birthday greetings to you, Marigold. Hope you had a really, really fantastic day. And Big Robert Miller, it's your birthday.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, lie. Mr. Miller.
Happy birthday to you, Sir MP.
Yes.
Wishing for you a lovely day. And he's also saying that his best friend Rudolph Thomas, it's his birthday as well. So both of them born on the same day. How interesting.
Happy birthday, Big Rob. Top man. Good guy from morning till now.
Yeah.
I first met Big Rob in the sculpture park at UTech in 2004. I had put on an education forum and he came from NCU, came up to support. And this is, I say, yo, brother, tally, man. This when the man shake me hand, it's like I could have put my 2 hand and 2 foot in a film one hand. And him say, how you do? You are George Davis? Yeah, man, thank you for the invitation. Where I come from. Giant man, so top man from them days till now.
Happy birthday to you and your best friend Rudolph Thomas, also celebrating his birthday today.
Yeah, man.
So that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide This Morning, NTM. Thanks so much to our technical operator and the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
And I'm George.
Happy born day to you, Elena from Loxley Gregory.
Yeah, man.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Stepping out. Stepping out. Open sesame. Here comes Rastaman. Abacadabra, catch me if you can.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.